Hello and welcome to my Games of the Year review. Now, this is a new set of blogs in which I discuss my personal best games of 2018. So here are the 5 games that I've chosen myself, in which I think are my best games of 2018. So anyway, we're gonna do the first 2 games, then in the next video do another 2 games, and then I will reveal my personal game of the year in the last video. So anyway, here are my 5th and 4th best games of 2018. Number 5 is Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human is another of Quantic Dream's finest work. It is so far the only game with endless possibilities and letting you decide how you would like to play out the stories told by 3 different characters. Having played Quantic Dream games in the past, I know with their history of storytelling and tense sequences, this is the most tense I had ever played. You tell the stories of Kara, Marcus and Connor, and they all have one thing in common: they are all androids. The pinpoint of Detroit is solely focused on the fact that androids are now taking over pretty much everything, like their jobs and, well, everything. Because of this, the humans lose everything and that they're replaced by androids. So we started off with Connor's story, and he's been hired to work as a detective, and presumably his first task was quite an intense one, as he had to calm down the hostage situation. Depending on the choice and actions you make, it will decide how this will end. So the hostage situation could go very wrong, or it could be very successful. And that is a great starting point for us to understand what Detroit Become Human really is going to be about. Now, furthermore onto Connor's story, we see development relationship with his partner Hank, in which I've really tried to get him to become friends, or even maybe more at least. This game also lets you, decide with the decisions you make, how you're actually going to bond with certain characters. I have to say, thinking back, even though at first I thought Kara's story, but then I did a lot of thinking, and I do have to agree now that Connor's story was the best of the entire game, and I've really enjoyed Connor's story as well. So I think it's a must when you do play this game to achieve that. You have to do something early on, which I can't remember what or how I did it, but whatever it is, I'm sure it will be worth it in the end anyway. So Kara's story mainly focused on the relationship with Alice, and to start off it didn't go off to a good start. Kara was purchased by Todd, who used her as his housekeeper. When Todd starts attacking Alice, the two of them make their escape, and throughout the rest of the story is all about, escaping from Detroit and leaving to another country. They have encountered a lot of interesting characters along the way, such as Ralph, one of the absolute best side characters in the game, in the abandoned house, or getting chased by Connor, after when they stay in a motel, and that was quite an interesting cop chase there. The options are limited in this game, by the way, so there's so many outcomes. I keep thinking to myself, how did they do this really? So Luther was introduced later on, assisted them on getting out of here. He was definitely one of the good characters as well. Unfortunately, he died along the way, if I remember, on my first playthrough. But in Kara's story, near the end, there was a big plot twist. Now, I'm not sure if I wanted to say this, but seeing the game is out for a while, I'll probably just say it now. Alice was an android the whole time. I actually immediately thought that Alice was human, and I actually really would love to see a good relationship between an android and a human. Unfortunately, I think I'm okay with this, but I do think that it could have been that way really. So it will make this story even more interesting, but it's fine as it is, because at least them two are bonding. Unless you make bad decisions, that tears them apart, then shall be it really. But I do so Kara and Alice are like mother and daughter, and I do want to keep that kind of relationship. I want Kara to be the caring person. That's what I really wanted to do really. So Marcus's story was without a doubt the weakest, but Marcus's story focuses more on what Jericho really is. So Jericho is a wrecked ship, that houses deviants, unwanted deviants, and this is the only place that keeps them safe. We learn a lot more about the deviants, and Marcus starts rallying them up to protest against the humans of Detroit, who are against them. Marcus's gameplay is more of strategy, planning, plotting, and all that. It's also assigning your group to do who does what and what should they do, really. So it's more like a real-time strategy. Well, not real-time, but real-time strategy, sort of like in the game. So again, you make good decisions, you get good endings, bad decisions, bad endings, and all that. It's all about trust as well. So if you lose trust with members of Jericho, then you don't stand a good chance at rising against the humans who were against the androids, in Detroit. But so be it. Anyway, but I also enjoyed the companionship, with Carl as well, whom Marcus was his caretaker. Leo was his son as well. He made some short appearances, but at first I thought he was an a-hole, but he turned out to be absolutely alright, and I actually kind of knew it, and afterwards I thought to myself, was he troubled? Yeah. He's just troubled, but he's a good son anyway, so he does give it down, to be fair. So Detroit Become Human is one of my games of the year, not because it provides a good story and drama. You see, there are lots of different outcomes, and it has great replayability. So you probably say on your first playthrough you're not satisfied with how the game turns out, you can go back for a second playthrough and see if you can remember what choices you made and how you're going to fix it on the next run. So you see, just like Until Dawn, but this one is really good. I have to say, with games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, even Fahrenheit as well, I have to say Detroit Become Human is quite close to being one of the Quantic Dream's best games. Quite close. But I'm hoping to see more from them in the far future. Maybe a new expansion, possibly a DLC, I don't know, but I would definitely, if there's a new story, with new outcomes and all that, I would defo be down for that again. So I've really enjoyed that. So that was Detroit Become Human. Number 4 is Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World is one of my next best games of the year. I do know Monster Hunter before, but with Monster Hunter World, it really introduced the newer fans, who have yet played a single Monster Hunter title. So it's more of a back to basics Monster Hunter title, but it's much larger and more beautiful. So when I first saw the announcement back at E3, I was instantly interested as I liked the look and feel of this. And there was so many positive feedback that I had to get involved. I've played the beta, my first thoughts were great, and then when the game finally comes out, it feels and plays a lot better. There is a single player campaign that guides new players into the world of Monster Hunter and teaching them the basics of hunting, in which there was a lot of information to take in. So like how to attack, how do you defend, how to farm for materials which you can craft or upgrade weapons at the hub, even learning more about each monster they're hunting, pointing out the weak points and what elemental damage you can give them. There's a lot to learn in Monster Hunter, and that's what makes this one so great. The open world environment was so diverse, large and beautiful, very well detailed that even getting from point A to B, I can just simply enjoy it. The large monsters, however, were sometimes a little not blown away, but still enjoyable to hunt, and making the experience better with 2 other players by your side. There is so much to do and a lot of monsters to hunt, and I didn't even beat the single player campaign. If you would like to get involved in the Monster Hunter universe, then you better start off with this game. Trust me, you will not be disappointed, and if so, it will have you abandoning other games for this, and it will have glued to your controllers for hours. I have to say Monster Hunter World is one of the best games of the year for me. Same could be said for other Monster Hunter fans as well, and possibly other gamers too. So Monster Hunter is my 4th best game of the year. And that concludes the first part of my Games of the Year review. So come back for part 2 in the next video, hopefully tomorrow, where I reveal the next 2 games, on my list. So anyway, if you enjoyed that, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe as well. Follow me on Twitter, which is at TitanWarrior93. Anyway guys, take care, I'll see you for part 2. Have a good day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.